One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
I think that the word salad stuff gets on my nerves. I think that some of the evasions are not necessary.
When she doesn't want to answer a question, her habit is to kind of go to word salad city. And she did that on a couple of answers. One was on Israel. Anderson asked a direct question, would you be stronger on Israel than Trump? And there was a 7-minute answer, but none of it related to the question he was asking.
So you're saying, well, what you're saying is anyone under 400,000 won't have taxes raised, or are you saying that anyone above 400,000 will have a tax raise?
I'm saying that there is going to be a parity around what the richest people pay in terms of their taxes. Right now, Anderson, you know, the document, it is well documented that some of the richest people in our country have gotten away with a zero tax rate.
But if you're earning $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 under your plan, there's a good chance your taxes go up.
We can't have this conversation without knowing it's a very complicated situation, right? If you're so I may not be quick to have the answer as soon as you ask it about a specific policy issue sometimes, because I'm going to want to research it. I'm going to want to study it. I'm kind of a nerd sometimes, I confess.
Yikes. That's all I can say. So I had put up a poll earlier and said, how many of you guys would want me to talk about Kamala Harris and that thing of a performance that she had yesterday? And a bunch of you guys overwhelmingly said talk about it. So before Trump comes on, we're going to talk about it, okay? Because, oh my God, I cannot even believe that the Democrats even consider this woman to be a viable candidate. She is insane. I don't like to denigrate somebody in this manner. I don't like to just flippantly say you are stupid or you are dumb. You know, I don't know the woman, so I'm just going to say it this way. She really appears really stupid and dumb. I would think if you were going to be on a nationally broadcast television show, two of them, MSNBC and CNN, and that you've been doing the job that you're doing for, the last 4 years, that you would have some proficiency in your ability to ask questions. Answer questions, sorry. I know, because I've done literally 1,000 videos, I can tell you that this does this and that does that thing. And then yesterday I tried to update, and I didn't try to update, it forced update my video editing program. And I was lost because when it updated, everything went wrong. But because I've been doing this for some time, I knew, oh, you need to click this button to fix this and go blah, blah, blah. You spend your time, you get it right. She's been doing this job for basically 4 years. 4 years. And she can't answer the most rudimentary of questions. That's with preparing, taking days off and studying, understanding you're going to get this question. They're going to ask you about this, this, and this. And you should, never mind that you had to study, you should have already known the answer to those questions. But you didn't. You didn't know the answer. What? Oh, wait a second. Wait, hold on. We'll get back to Kamala. We got a little bit of breaking news. Now, once in a while, y'all know I like to pat my shoulders here and say, I told you so. I should have had the clip where I told you, you know what? I bet you Trump is warming up for the kill shot. You guys remember that, right? Let me look in the chat. Maybe some of you guys will remember that. You remember when I said, I think no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, you can write off taxes on car loans. I don't think he wants to have firefighters and police officers and this person and pay any tax. And I told you, I may have been the only person crazy enough to even broach it. And I said, I bet you this man is thinking in his mind that this country would be better off if we had no taxes. Y'all remember me saying it. Yep, I can see it. Y'all remember me saying it. Well, guess what? It's no longer a supposition at this point. It appears to be something Trump is going to. He's moving towards that. Maybe he'll drop that nugget in Madison Square Garden, of all places. Talk about a punctuation to end his campaign. On stage at Madison Square Garden and go, you know what, guys? We're just going to do away with all income tax. How about that? Can we just do away with all income tax? And the place would go absolutely nuts, and Kamala would be, not just Kamala, the Democrats would be done. Case in point, this popped up just this afternoon, and I'm like, did I not say this? I'm pretty sure I'm the one who said this. The New York Times, this is at, what time was this thing posted? Not really sure what time it was posted. Yes, I am. It's at 2:10 p.m. on today, 2:10, just 2 hours ago. Trump flirts with the ultimate tax cut. No income taxes at all. The former president has repeatedly praised a period in American history when there was no income tax and the country relied on tariffs to fund the government. Those of you who may be too young don't realize income taxes wasn't always there. Income taxes was something that was brought about to help fund the war and everything else. And then the Democrats and Republicans got to that point and went, so we can steal all this money and just keep using it forever? Yeah, we can do that. Well, Trump is saying no more. I won't go through this whole article with you because we're waiting on him to show up. But it says former President Donald J. Trump has spent much of the presidential campaign brainstorming new and sometimes untested ways to cut taxes. Obviously written by a millennial. It's been tested. In the election's final stretch, he has raised the possibility of going even further, eliminating income taxes entirely. During a Fox News segment on Monday, Mr. Trump took questions at a barbershop in the Bronx. When asked if the United States could potentially end all federal taxation, Mr. Trump said that the country could return to the economic policies of the late 19th century when there was no federal income tax. And let me just highlight this for you so you guys can just read it yourself. He said it had all tariffs. It didn't have any income tax. Now we have income taxes and we have people that are dying. They're paying taxes and they don't have the money to pay their death tax. This is out of New York Times. You can go and read this article yourself. You can see it all. Can you even imagine? Well, maybe you can. Maybe that's why they're pulling out all the stops. They probably had gotten wind of this months ago that this guy wants to eliminate Department of Education. He wants to eliminate this department, that department. Boom, boom, boom. Like Javier Milei, just start picking departments off the board. Bring in Elon Musk. Cut, 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 cut. Oh, now we don't need that much. Okay, now that we don't need that much, we can raise it in tariffs, and we'll go ahead and basically stop taking people's money out of their paychecks. And guys, people said, amen. That's why they're freaking out. They've had their measly fingers in the national cookie jar for so long, they can't even imagine what it would be like not to be stealing your money. And if he announces it on stage at Madison Square Garden, the Big Apple, the Big Kahuna, the biggest media market in the world, and he comes out there on Sunday and goes, hey, I've thought about it, we're going to just eliminate income tax. Oh my God, roll a hand grenade down Fifth Avenue, roll a hand grenade in front of Pennsylvania Avenue. All hell is going to break loose. Every single economic advisory they could ever find is going to be drawn out into the woodwork and on television everywhere saying, Hitler here is now going to stop using income tax. This guy that wants to get rid of everybody and put everybody in jail is now going to make everybody much more wealthy. How do you do that? Because if I remember my history, and I have to defer to Ashley, she told me she's really into World War II stuff. I'm pretty sure when Adolf did all that nasty stuff to the Jewish people, that he even took the fillings out of their teeth and melted it down and impoverished them to basically enrich himself. And yet this Adolf, the new version, the 2.0 version, who's running for president of the United States, is like, hey, we're going to give you your money back. That must just be complete mind F, a cluster F. How do you deal with that? This guy is not taking your money. He's giving it back to you. You think the black vote right now is through the roof? You think the Hispanic vote is through the roof? You ain't seen nothing if he says no income tax. I can't even think of a demographic anywhere that would say, no, I'm good with that. Yeah, please keep taking the money out of my pocket. What demographic would be okay with it? What demographic would raise their hand and say, I'd like more taxes, sir. Please tax me some more. Govern me harder. I bet you there'd be white women in the suburbs who'd be like, hey, honey, yeah. Well, this dude's talking about not having to pay taxes. How would that work for us? Well, we'd probably buy a bigger house, maybe a third car. Hey, we go on a trip. We go on a cruise. Because we get that 28 to 45% back in our pocket. You, wherever you are watching this right now, I want you to do the math. Imagine every single dime that you had. He didn't say FICA. I don't know about that. We'll see where that goes. And he didn't say payroll taxes, but assume income taxes is gone. How much more money would you have in your pocket every single week, 2 weeks, or a month? And when you hear the economists scream about this, and they say it can't be done, and it's going to hurt the po people, raise your hand and tell them the po people ain't paying no taxes. How's it going to hurt people who aren't paying anything? if 50% of this country don't pay taxes, how can it hurt them if none of us has to pay taxes? Oh, but you know what's going to happen? You know, if Trump does that, it's going to cause tariffs. And, you know, New York Times is already over that. I mean, all over that right now. And they're putting up this false flag of a, of a, what do you call it? Excuse, which I have to show you here. Let me go ahead and highlight this so you guys can see this. You expected this, didn't you? Replacing income taxes with tariffs would reverse the progressivity. I didn't know taxes were supposed to be progressive. The progressivity of the tax system in the United States. In general, income taxes are progressive, meaning that Americans with more money pay a higher tax rate. Tariffs, which impose a tax on products imported into the United States, key line that he doesn't delve into, products imported into the United States, are regressive. They raise the prices on imported items like clothing and groceries, placing a larger burden on lower income Americans who spend a bigger percentage of their income on those goods. Wrong. That's the big lie that they've been telling everybody for decades. Tariffs are going to hurt you because stuff that you buy is going to be more expensive. Don't buy it. Don't buy the stuff that's more expensive. Instead of buying a Chinese t-shirt that has, you know, a 30% tariff, buy the American t-shirt. Problem solved. Instead of buying the food, which I don't know who would be buying food from China or anywhere else, buy the food from America. Instead of buying the beef that's imported, if you can't afford it, buy the beef in America. They never say that part. They only say that you should, you know, tariffs are going to hurt the poor people. Well, you know, how about we all try to make them not poor anymore? You know, that would be a novel approach if government would get to a position where they said, you know what, let's address the poor by having them not be poor anymore. You know, instead of feeding the kitten, teach that kitten how to hunt. I think that's somewhat biblical, you know. Teach a man, feed a man a fish, feed him for one day. Teach a man to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. Why are these people not self-sufficient? I'm not talking about people who are affirmed. I'm not talking about people who are retired. I'm not talking about people who have some sort of affliction. That being aside, those people who need the help, we get them the help. The rest, as Trump has said about Harry, you get your ass off your couch and you go to work. Choices are personal. Accountability is personal. If you have to work to make ends meet like the rest of us do, then you get your ass off the couch and make it work. No more government handouts. 50% of the people do not contribute to anything in this country, and it's not even discussed by the Democrats. And as we go further with Kamala here, and she starts talking about taking more money from people and how, you know, these people should, you know, fork up more of their money, he's calling her bluff. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to make them pay any taxes. You want to keep charging more. The contrast and the discrepancy is going to be off the charts, and I think she's screwed. I think she's absolutely screwed because people are going to sit back, the 50% who are paying, and look at the other people who we've been carrying for decades and say, get your ass out there. You know, how about the other argument with the newcomers? Oh, they do jobs that the Americans don't want to do. Oh, we need to find these Americans that don't want to go pick fruit. We need to find these Americans that don't want to sweep the streets. We need to find these Americans who somehow find it beneath them because they're not qualified to do something else. And instead of just taking the job that's going to give you some money, you sit back and say, let government take care of things. That shit's got to end. I think there's something else in the Bible that says a man don't work, a man don't eat. Somehow that's been kind of tossed to the wayside. Now you don't work, government will feed you. Get you your EBT card, Get everything. You don't have to do anything. You literally, if you wanted to live a very minimalist lifestyle, wouldn't have to do anything. Yeah, I can't find a job. So what are you going to do? We're going to give you like $200 a week for, unemployment. And then we're going to, give you an EBT card so you can get food. And then we're going to build you a hovel with Section 8 so you can live here for free. And then we're going to give you free cable. And then we're going to give you the Obama phone. Well, why the hell would I look for a job? If I'm a loser, that's fine. And I still have sex because, you know what? She can go down to the clinic and get it taken care of. So I'm good. But then she says, no, I want to have the baby because then I get more money. And it becomes this cyclical craziness that the Democrats have infected people in the hood and lower income people with, where they don't even think about, maybe I should improve my lot in life. Is it possible for me to learn how to do different things that will allow me to generate more income for my family? Is that even possible? Because they keep telling me, you can't even use a computer. You are so oppressed, young man. The white man is just keeping you in one place and they won't allow you. But what about him? Oh, he can throw a football. Oh, what about him? Oh, he can dunk a basketball. What about him? Oh, he turned white and he turned his back where he came from and he decided to go to that white school and learn. So don't be like him. You think I'm kidding about that last one. I can't tell you how many times people in my life had told me, you forget where you came from. And I tell them very quickly, no, I don't forget where I come from. I remember it all the time so that I never go back there again. Nobody forgets where they come from. That is the motivation to keep them moving forward. Only idiots and people who have been brainwashed think that kind of mentality. Oh, you forget where you came from. No, I don't owe you anything. I can go back to certain places, as I mentioned before, in the area in downtown Hartford, different places, different pockets in those neighborhoods, and those people are like the time that the land that time forgot. They are still relatives, generations. Oh, you're so-and-so's uncle and brother. Y'all still live here in the projects? Scout's honor. I'm telling you. The infection has run so deep that so many of these people generationally never get out. They're always there. Oh, your dad died, my granddad died here, and now you're older. Hey, oh, you got 3 sons. Where are they living? Oh, they were in FH. Oh, all y'all live here. You ain't never going anywhere. I see you. You never want to be able to say you forget where you came from. I am so happy that I'm seeing the precipice of the Democrat Party being destroyed. We are looking at it. We're looking into that abyss, and we're seeing them fester like snakes and boils on the butt of humanity, and they're just starting to feel it like our hold is being relinquished. And in order to keep that hold, you put up a puppet. You put up Charlie McCarthy, who can't even speak, who's been in an office for 4 years and has no idea what she does in the morning. Listen to more of this crazy speak.
Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%. And then when it came time for him to do a photo op, you know where he did it? In the part of the wall that President Obama built.
But you're agreeing to a bill that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border. Yes, I am. And I'm going to work across the aisle to pass a comprehensive bill that deals with a broken immigration system. I think Jackson's question, part of it was to acknowledge that America has always had migration, but there needs to be a legal process for it. People have to earn it. And
there needs to be a legal process for it. My dad came here in, 1954 or something? And that legal process has been in place since that time. How does she not know that there currently is a legal process to immigrate into the United States? Emigrate. I can't tell you.
That's the point that I think is the most important point that can be made, which is we need a president who is grounded in common sense and practical outcomes. Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it. Why is there any ideological perspective on it? Let's just fix the problem.
To fix the problem, you're doing this compromise bill. It does call for $650 million that was earmarked under Trump to actually still go to build the wall.
I am not afraid of good ideas where they occur.
So you don't think it's...
So now it's a good idea to build the wall, but you're blaming Trump not to build it when you guys complained about how much money it was going to cost.
Stupid anymore.
I think what he did and how he did it did not make much sense because he actually didn't do much of anything.
Boy, ain't that the pot calling the kettle black right there. He didn't do much of anything. Oh, really? I think he's got this pretty chart that he sleeps with that'll show you much to the contrary.
I just talked about that wall, right? We just talked about it. He didn't actually do much of anything.
But you do want to build some wall.
I want to strengthen our border.
I want to strengthen our border. Why didn't you? Everything she says, every single time she answers a question, at this point, every single reporter, host can always just respond with, well, why didn't you do it? That should always just be the response. Let her squirm up there because she has to answer that. And it's amazing to me that finally, 12 days left, people are starting to go, yeah, well, why haven't you done that?
2023, there were record border crossings. Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
Thank you, Anderson. I don't know what's going on with CNN. I don't know what's going on with MSNBC, certain ones, where now they're putting a question to her. She had to know it was coming. Trump's been asking it over and over and over. Why haven't you done it? And the problem with her is, you'll hear, she's got no answer.
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration.
But if it was
low.
that easy with that executive action, why not do it in 2022?
And I love how he follows it up with another question about it. I'm looking on here and I see they're getting ready for Trump. Oh, no, that's not Trump. That's Vivek, but we will take him. But let me just finish this.
2023.
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
Well, here's the thing. We have to understand that ultimately this...
Let's go to Vivek.
We're 12 days away from the biggest victory in American history. Let's not make it small. A landslide minus some shenanigans is still a victory, and that's what you all are going to deliver in the state of Arizona. I got 3 words for you. Vote, vote, vote. Get it done for President Trump, all right? We're just getting warmed up today. Love it. We are in the middle of a war in this country. I don't use that word lightly. Our enemy is not our fellow citizen. It is an ideology. There's no middle ground here. Either you believe in censorship or you believe in free speech. You cannot have both. Either you believe in merit or you believe in group quotas. You cannot have both. Either you believe in American exceptionalism or you believe in apologizing for who we are. You cannot have both. And right now, more than ever, we need a commander-in-chief who will lead us to victory in that war. And that man is your next president, the 47th president of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. If you want to seal the border, vote Trump. If you want to restore law and order in this country, vote Trump. If you want to grow the economy in this country, vote Trump. If you want to stay out of World War III, vote Trump. If you want to revive national pride in this country, vote Trump. If you want to make America great again, vote Trump. This is the choice we face. You know, Tim Walz, Kamala Harris walking around. I'll tell you, I hope when we deliver that victory on November 6th, the Democratic Party learns once and for all that identity politics doesn't work. You get rotten leaders at every time when you use race and gender to select somebody for their job. And I'm actually talking about Tim Walz this time, by the way. It doesn't work in any direction at all. You know, you got kids coming in, they'll say, oh, he went in as a boy, now he identifies as a girl. It's like what happened at the top of the Democratic ticket. This thing was a coup all the way down. The Democratic Party has now become the party of censorship, has now become the party of war, has now become the party that is hostile to the working class in this nation. But it doesn't have to stay that way. You know, President Trump often says this, and he's right, that we are a nation in decline. That's what we've become. But it doesn't have to stay that way. We don't have to be at the end of the ancient Roman Empire. We don't have to be this nation in decline. We still can be a nation in our ascent. A nation whose best days are actually still ahead of us. Still a country where we will look our kids in the eye and mean it when we tell them that you get ahead in the United States of America with your own hard work, your own commitment, your own dedication, and that you know what? You are free to speak your mind at every step of the way. That is the American dream. That is what we are running to. That is how we will make America great again. Our founding fathers, make them proud. 2024 is our 1776. That's going to require a sacrifice of all of you. I'll be honest with you, I don't love early voting. I never have. I believe we need single-day voting on Election Day as a national holiday with paper ballots and government-issued ID to match the voter file. That's what I believe. That's what Donald Trump believes. But let me tell you something. You got to play by the rules we have in order to change the rules to what they should be. So I'm asking you, as Republicans, yes, we may not like early voting, get out there and do it anyway, because we have an election to win and a country to save. Our founding fathers, they made a sacrifice. There were 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence. What happened to them? Might ask yourself exactly. 12 of them had their homes ransacked and burned to the ground by the British. 5 of them were captured by the British and tortured until their deaths. 9 of them died in the American Revolution. 3 more of them had their own kids die in the American Revolution. They didn't do it for them. They did it for us so we could be here 250 years later enjoying the blessings of liberty in the greatest nation known to the history of mankind. And we're not about to squander it for them. 2024 is our 1776, and I mean it when I say this. I think Donald Trump is the George Washington of our moment. They shot at George Washington when he crossed the Delaware. They missed when they tried for Donald Trump, too. This time around, we're not messing this up for our country. And I'm asking you, you guys do your part, Donald Trump's going to do his, and we will make sure that our best days are still ahead of us, that we restore that American dream, that we restore that belief in the impossible, that we are the unafraid, the explorers, the pioneers who nobody was going to stop. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what reunited us after the Civil War. That is what won us 2 world wars and the Cold War. That is what still gives hope to the free world. And if we can revive that dream over group identity and victimhood and grievance, then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus, not China, and certainly not Kamala Harris or Tim Walz is going to defeat us. That is what American exceptionalism is all about. And that is what we will revive to save this great nation. Thank you all. God bless you and your families. And may God bless our United States of America. Do not stop fighting until we get this job done. Thank you, guys. God bless.
I know I'm looking at the chat, and there's a good amount of people who say they don't trust Vivek. And I think people need to, at this point, Get over that. I mean, and here's why, and I will continue saying this about different things that people bring up. If Donald Trump trusts him, if Donald Trump has brought him into the inner circle, then I think by association you have to trust him. See, as of today, it's very interesting. As of today, what's her name? Nikki Haley has not been brought into the fold. So right now, Nikki Haley is an outsider. If Trump isn't willing to bring her in, which I'm sure there's some back channel discussion, if she's not been brought in, then there's probably, she's not ready. We can't trust her yet. But he's brought Vivek Ramaswamy in from a long time ago. So you have to, if you trust Trump and you are voting for Trump and Vance, and you feel that that is the team you want to lead this country, then you also have to basically believe and trust in Trump's judgment. You can't be a little bit pregnant. You're either all in for Trump or you're not. And so when I see people say, I don't trust him and I don't trust Tulsi, then you don't trust Trump. Let's just be honest here. You either trust him or you don't. So since he has basically put the big bear hug on this team, and he has said, matter of fact, I even heard people saying yesterday, I don't trust Tucker. Then you're not all in. Stop it. I'm just telling you, for your own good, stop it. If you believe in this man, you need to believe in his decisions. If you believe in his decisions, then his decision has been thus far, I'm bringing in Tucker. I'm bringing in Elon Musk. I'm bringing in Vivek. I'm bringing in Tulsi. I'm bringing in RFK Jr. You need to push your chips all in. That's where you are. Let's see who's coming up next here. Do I go back to Kamala or do I take, this looks like it's Marco Rubio. This is interesting. Marco Rubio from Florida is taking the stage. So he's brought Marco in. I didn't even trust Marco. But Trump says, obviously, this is a guy you should trust. So he's bringing up Marco to basically talk right now.
Here, we were in Florida today. You guys have no humidity. They say it's good for the hair, right? Bad for the skin, anyway. So good to see you guys. Did you notice they said Rubio? They didn't even say my first name, which is fine. Which is fine. No, don't. No. I'll tell you why. I asked them to do that. Because there's this thing about this stupid Marco Polo game. It drives me nuts. I hated it as a kid. So Rubio's fine. Are you guys, are we going to win Arizona? Are you guys going to do what it takes to win? It matters. It's important. We feel great about Florida. Remember when Florida was the state everybody was watching at night? We take nothing for granted. But I'm going to make a very bold prediction. Donald Trump in my home state, his home state, is going to win big. But it isn't going to matter if we don't win big here as well. You guys are going to give us a big victory here, right? And it's not enough to just get, we need him in the White House, but he needs a Senate. If we don't get the Senate, he won't have anybody appointed to his cabinet. In fact, let me tell you this, if we don't get the Senate, and God forbid they win over the House, they will impeach him like the same day as he's moving into the White House. Think about it. As he's moving into the Oval Office, whoever the speaker, it won't be Pelosi again. I think she's done being speaker, right? I think she's done. But maybe she'll want to come back just to do one more impeachment. They pass more impeachment than they do, laws that help the American people. But we have to win the Senate, and you have a chance to do that. Are you going to send us, Carrie Lake, to Washington, D.C.? Good. I'm telling you now, we need more people like that with common sense, that'll work hard, that'll help us do the right things in the Senate. She's going to feel lonely there because there ain't that enough. We don't have enough people with common sense that'll work hard in the U.S. Senate, but she will. She'll make a difference. And I'm telling you, if you're voting for Donald Trump, if you know anyone who's voting for Donald Trump, but they say, oh, I'm not going to vote for the Senate race, it's not a big deal. I'm telling you, it's self-defeating. We need them both. Make sure people get out and vote. Make sure you tell everybody they got to get out and vote, and they have to stay and vote for all the Republicans on the ticket. And I'm here to tell you this is not just an election. It is an election. And it is a choice between, for fear and at risk of exaggeration, it is a choice between two very different candidates. Two very different candidates. One, who you'll hear from in a moment, the 45th and soon to be 47th President of the United States. He will speak with passion and with humor because he loves America at the core. Why is he doing this? I'm going to tell you, a lot of people don't know this, okay? But I'm going to share this with you. Donald Trump has actually been quite successful in business. He doesn't need to be in politics. He even has his own plane. All right? And not like a little plane, like a big plane. A huge plane, that's exactly right. A huge plane. So why would someone like that, who has all these things going, by the way, they all loved him, all these celebrities, all these people out there that now, are jumping on the train of the Kamala Harris and all these people, they were all his friends, they all liked him. He had a great life. So why does someone like that run for president? Because they love America, because he loves America, because he wants your children to have the America that we inherited, the greatest country in the world. That's why he's doing it. And they attack, and the unfairness, the attempts on his life, the 2 impeachments, the 45 indictments, the lawfare, everything he's put up with, everything his family, his friends, the people around him, is all because he loves a country that he knows is supposed to be the greatest country in the world, needs to be the greatest country in the world. It has the greatest people in the world. Now what it needs is a great president again. So that's option one. Option two is someone who 6 months ago was supposed to be the vice presidential Democratic candidate. But then, first of all, they lied to us, right, for years. And she was there. There's no way she doesn't know. Biden had problems. He was struggling. Let me ask you, do you think if Kamala Harris had run for president, let's say Biden had announced a year and a half ago, I'm not running for re-election, and she had been a candidate and a bunch of other Democrats would have run, would she have been their nominee? She would not have been their nominee. She became the nominee of the Democratic Party the only way she could, through a backroom maneuver to put her on the ballot at the last second when it was too late to pick anybody else. And now she can't tell us what the difference is between what she would do and what Joe Biden has done. Now, when they first started running, for a couple weeks, they were pretending she was born on July 24th of this year. But she wasn't. She was the Attorney General in California. She was a U.S. Senator. She ran for president. You may not have noticed because she got out of the race like 3 weeks after she got in. But she ran at one time, and then she became vice president, and she's been in that White House and in this administration through every single debacle. In fact, one of the things she was? She was the border czar. How did she do with the border here in Arizona? How did she do with the border? Well, imagine what she would do as president. Nothing. We can't let that happen, and it's in your hands. Vivek spoke a moment ago, and it really matters. Look, I'll tell you this, and I'll say this in closing. I know people that feel very strongly about this election. True story, 4 years ago. Someone who felt very strongly. This guy had every sign, every bumper sticker, every Facebook post, everything you can imagine. He was really engaged. He forgot to go vote. He didn't forget to go vote. He said, I'm going to go vote at the last second. And then I forgot what happened. But he ended up not voting. Now, luckily, Florida wasn't a one-vote state. But if enough people like that don't go out and vote, we're going to wind up saying, what happened? That can't happen. They know we're going to win. That's why they're going crazy. Their campaign at the end is not even about them. You won't even hear her say anymore, this is what I would do as president. It's all attacks, it's all viciousness, it's all nastiness, because they have nothing to run on. They know we're going to win because they know you're behind us. They know we're going to win here in Arizona because they know you're here behind us. But the way we win is if you go vote and everyone you know that agrees with you goes to vote, And everyone who doesn't agree with you, tell them the election's next 2 Wednesdays, the Wednesday, the day after. That's a joke. Is there media here? That is called a joke. You've got to vote. You've got to get everyone you know to go out and vote. And honestly, vote as soon as you can. Vote as soon as you can so that you can spend the rest of your time getting people out to vote. So we will wake up that Wednesday morning and we will be able to say, thank God our president is once again Donald J. Trump. Thank you and God bless. Thank you.
So I wonder what position Marco will hold in a Trump administration. I understand he's a senator right now, but I wonder if he's going to be like one of the new guys. And somebody had posted inside the chat here, did Vivek and J.D. Vance have some sort of relationship in college? Not that kind of relationship, like good friends and stuff like that. Not only were they good friends, they were best of friends. In fact, if you guys don't know, J.D. Vance named his son after Vivek. So that tells you something. It's almost familial in terms of J.D. Vance must have talked to Vivek, which then J.D. talked to Trump. And so, bringing that Avenger type team together. It's funny. I'm looking at the screen right now. This one guy gets so much airtime and FaceTime. He's the guy that has to come out and basically make sure the microphone is at the right height for Trump, and the other guy comes out to make sure the teleprompter is at the right height for Trump. So these two guys always end up being on stage for about 10 minutes getting everything perfect for Trump. They must have the most high-pressure job in the world, because when that shit goes down, he lets you know, I ain't paying for this, okay? I'm docking your pay, whatever. But anyway, just understand, as I was saying, if you trust in Trump, just understand he's making the decisions he needs to make. And he's light years away from where he was before. He got sucked into it, didn't know Washington. They surrounded him with vipers. They took advantage of him. And now things are different. Things are going to be different. So let's continue with this Kamala Harris interview from CNN.
Problem is going to be fixed through congressional action.
I think that clip illustrates exactly why Harris is in trouble at this point. And it's something that I don't understand why the campaign does not address. They asked her specifically, where do you stand on the wall? And what does she do? She goes and shifts it right to Donald Trump.
That's what the campaign did do. Frank Luntz here has said he doesn't understand why they don't address it. Well, that is addressing it. They don't have an answer for the question. So they have obviously told her and taught her and practiced with her is when you don't have the answer for the question, pivot immediately to Donald Trump. That is not something that just happened. She's been doing it. So all of us who sit back and go, why don't you just answer the damn question? Well, they've told her, Miss Puppet, anytime you get in trouble, anytime you feel like the question's uncomfortable, just pivot to Donald Trump's, he's Hitler or something.
Immediately mentions him twice within the first 5 seconds. She still hasn't closed the deal. She still hasn't said to people exactly what she would do. In fact, what she should have done in the opening of that town hall is said, I want to tell you what I'm going to do in the first hour, in the first day, and in the first week. And it's going to take me 5 minutes. So, Anderson, you're going to have to sit tight. Here's what we're going to do by one.
That sounds great, but she can't do it because she hasn't been told what she's going to do in the first hour, or day, or whatever. They're not telling her that yet because they haven't wrote the script for her. You'll do whatever we tell you to do is what she would have to say. Oh, they haven't told me that part yet.
PM. She didn't do any of that. She hasn't told the public step by step what she's about.
Let me ask you.
Considering you have been in the...
So when you lose somebody like Frank Luntz, you're in deep, deep poo-poo. At this point, less than 2 weeks away from the election, and the media is now starting to ferment at the mouth and realize this woman really isn't going to answer any questions. The rope-a-dope, only worked, and eventually you hope that Ali tires himself out, or rather George Foreman tires himself out, and then Ali can start popping George Foreman. You know, you're taking on this big, powerful guy like George Foreman, and you're just leaning up against the ropes as George Foreman is just pounding you, making a reference to that fight where George Foreman was just beating the crap out of Muhammad Ali. And they came up with a strategy: don't do anything, take the hit. You're a big man. You can survive this. Just cover your face. And he just covered his face, and he just took the pounding until George Foreman literally punched himself into fatigue, and then Ali arose and boom, just took it over. They thought she was playing rope-a-dope. They didn't realize that all she had was the dope. She didn't have the rope. She has nothing. She has no counterpunch to the big guy. The big guy is pounding her into submission, and he's doing this the rest of the way through the campaign. So her rope-a-dope was empty because there was no rope. It's all dope.
Position of vice president for the past 4 years under the Biden administration. How can we expect you to deviate from the direction of that administration compared to your own? How can we differentiate your policy and your beliefs from that of Biden's?
That's a great question, and thank you. Well, first of all, my administration will not be a continuation of the Biden administration. I bring to this role my own ideas and my own experience. I represent a new generation of leadership on a number of issues and believe that...
The only thing you represent is the lollipop kids. You're living in a land of Oz at this point. I represent the lollipop kids because you got nothing. You got no experience. You notice what she just did there when she talked about experience. She expects everyone she talks to forget the last 4 years. The last 4 years didn't happen. She jumps past her Senate. She goes all the way back to California, not realizing for the last 4 years she's been vice president. And then before that, she was a senator. And she expects people she's talking to, I understand that this is a young woman, but she just goes back, well, you know, I used to prosecute people back in California. Well, what have you done the last 7 or 8 years?
We have to actually take new approaches. For example, what we talked about in terms of housing. My experience that leads to that priority includes what I did to take on the big banks around the foreclosure.
All right, I'm going to take Stephen Miller because I love his firebrand. Stephen Miller's on stage.
Arizona, 12 days. 12 days to end inflation. 12 days to end the border invasion. 12 days to end the corruption and graft and theft in Washington. 12 days to deliver the future for our children that they deserve. 12 days to send home every last criminal gang, every last criminal migrant, every last menace that has crossed our border to prey on the people of this state. I want you to think about the last 8 years since Donald J. Trump stepped down that golden escalator. Think about what they've thrown at him, what he's endured over those 8 years. Think about the hoaxes, the lies, the persecutions. They've attacked him. They've attacked his family. They've attacked his loved ones. They've attacked his businesses. They've attacked every single thing he's ever been associated with, that corrupt system. Why have they kept attacking him? Why? Because Donald Trump is the one fighting for us. And they kept coming after him and coming after him and coming after him. Lawfare after lawfare, hoax after hoax, lie after lie, persecution after persecution, and then not one, but 2 assassination attempts that nearly took his life. And did he bend? Did he back down? Did he break? Did he waver? Did he falter? Did he give one single inch? No. He stood up. He stood strong. He raised his fist into the air and said 3 immortal words: fight, fight, fight. And who and what is he fighting for? He's fighting for your children. He's fighting for your husbands. He's fighting for your wives. He's fighting for everyone you love. And he's fighting for America, for this republic, for our freedom, for our Constitution. He's fighting for all of us every single day. But now it's up to us. Now it's up to everyone in this room to deliver the tsunami of votes that we need to reclaim the United States of America. And so, to the people of Arizona, I need you to dig deep. I need you to dig even deeper than you think that you can dig. Look at the TV every day. Look at the lies on CNN. Look at the lies on MSNBC. Look at the hatred that is being spewed every single day by the corrupt ruling class. But remember this. You still have the power to take back your country. The future of this nation and this civilization are still in your hands. So my challenge to you, Arizona, over these next 12 days, will Arizona send Donald J. Trump back to the White House? Will you get your friends? Will you get your family? Will you get everyone you know and send a flood of ballots into the polls and say America will be a safe nation, we will be a free nation, we will be a proud nation, and we will look at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and say, that is my president, that is Donald Trump, that is my warrior in the White House. Thank you, God bless you, God bless Arizona, and God bless the United States.
That guy certainly brings the heat. I mean, like, fire heat. He's so good. Love the way he talks. Can't wait to have him back inside the White House as well. I know people have called him names. They've called basically everybody associated with Trump. They've called the same name over and over. It's kind of tiring. It's run its course. You got nothing left. You got nothing left. So before Trump comes up, maybe we have some time to finish this interview, or not interview, this debacle of a town hall that she went through.
Crisis when I brought billions of dollars to homeowners that were the subject of predatory lending. I know what homeownership means to the American people, not to mention what it meant to my mother, who worked very...
You know, being in real estate for 20, almost 30 years, I hate that term, predatory lending, as if the lenders did something wrong. Same thing with this forgiveness of college student loans. Predatory lending. You go to a bank. You tell the bank, hey, listen, I want to buy this house. Hey, okay, well, show me what you got, and collateral, credit. Oh, no, I don't need that anymore. The government said everybody gets a house. Oh, okay. But how do we know you can pay for it? Oh, the government says, that I can fog a mirror so I get to have a mortgage. And then when Fred gets in the house and he can't pay for the house, and Fred gets the house taken away from him, they call it predatory lending. But you told me. You told me if he fogs up a mirror, he should be able to get a loan. And now you're twisting it around and calling it predatory. You people are ridiculous.
Hard and saved up so that by the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy our first home. I bring to it my experience actually taking care of my mother when she was sick, and it was, as it turned out, dying from cancer.
I'm sorry that your mom succumbed to cancer. Cancer sucks. I don't want anybody, even her mother, to have gone through that painful disease. But what the hell does that have to do with me getting a house? What the hell does your mom and you taking care of your mom have to do with me and the question I asked you about me being a homeowner? You're basically doing your version of a filibuster.
And so I know what it means and have the experience of taking care of an elderly relative, and I have raised children.
Wait. Any fact checkers out there? What children did you raise? The furry armpit kid that's in your house is Doug's kid, and she was like 16 when y'all got married, 15 or 16. So what kids did you raise? You don't have any. You married a guy who had a 16 or 15-year-old daughter, and what did you do in terms of raising that kid? And if that's the kid you raised, if you're taking credit for that, young lady, I don't know if I tell too many people that. I'd probably ixnay on the Doug daughter, because y'all know what I mean.
And so I bring to my priorities and will, as president, a new approach and a new...
Remember what the question was. The question was, How are you going to help me buy a house? In case you forgot, I just want to remind you.
Idea, frankly, about what we need to do to deal with the sandwich generation. But I just...
How are you going to help me buy a house? Oh, we have to do something about the sandwich generation. Great, thanks. Thanks for that answer. That cleared things up for me. Yeah, thank you.
Called him. I needed that spirit.
Oh, you're going to love this one. So after kicking people out of a church for saying Jesus is Lord, she blasphemes here. And Anderson Cooper must be sitting there going, oh my God, what is this woman doing? So if you didn't see this part, this I would have stepped back so the lightning bolt didn't hit.
Kind of connect.
Look how Anderson Cooper's looking at her like, are you seriously going to say this?
I needed that advice. I needed a prayer. And there's a part of the scripture that talks about Esther and a time such as this, and that's what we talked about. And it was very comforting for me. And
do you pray every day?
I do pray every day. I do pray every day, sometimes twice a day. I grew up. So we grew up a little neighborhood church in Oakland, 23rd Avenue Church of God, and I was raised to believe in a loving God, to believe that your faith is a verb. You live your faith, and that the way that one should do that is that your work and your life's work should be to think about how you can serve in a way that is uplifting other people, that is about caring for other people. And that guides a lot of how I think about my work and what is important.
Regarding the rapid increase.
I wanted you to hear the entirety of what she just said without any interruption. She says she prays sometimes twice a day. And she says that prayer is how she would like to guide her life and her work. The entirety of that statement was said by a woman who will do anything to make sure that baby removal stays a priority in this government, and everything that she needs to do is about making sure that baby removals have no limits. I'm never going to be the person to point at another Christian and say that Christian is not good or that Christian is good. But what I will point out is, how do you live your life where you say you pray and where you want to have your work and life guided by the principles of the Bible, and at the same time advocate for an aberration like baby removal? How do you do that? I think we're going to have it next Thursday. We're going to have a prayer meeting again. But I'd love to ask some pastors, how in the hell do you reconcile those two things? It's mind-numbing. It's stunning that she could stand on a stage in front of the world and say something like that. I mean, it almost hurts. It may hurt you as a Christian to hear somebody talk like that. I know it bothers me. Trump's getting ready to walk out right now, so we'll be flipping over to him shortly, but the music is playing. He has just walked out of the curtain here. Let me show you guys so you know he's coming. But I can't play the music, so that's why I'm talking over it. But, you know, as Trump's walking out, you go ahead and tell me. I'd love to see in the comments, you know, like I said, I don't want to call her bad or evil or any of these things or a bad Christian. I'd rather take it head on and somebody tell me how in the hell you can be that person. You can be that person who prays twice a day, who goes to church, she says, to the 23rd Avenue Church of God, wherever that is. Love to know where that church sits and everything. You tell me, You tell me how that can possibly be. I would be afraid to live and work in such a way that is in contradiction to what I hear on Sunday and read in the Bible and my daily devotion. But she doesn't seem to care. To her, they're one and the same. And so as Trump takes the stage, you guys can tell me. What the fuck? Excuse me. Every time I tune into your channel, it will freeze after 30 seconds. I can't help you. That's YouTube. She worships the god of Baphomet, the god of transponders. Maybe. I don't know. Kamala, our king, will not be mocked. I just don't see how. I just don't see how. So, I understand that some people have some buffering issues. I can't help you. Earlier when I was listening, the voice thing went squeaky, but I'm taking in 2 feeds. This is a different feed, so we will be able to see which one works better. I will work on a 3rd feed in a second. So if this one doesn't clear up and the sound is bad, I will do that. She breaks the 9th commandment every time she opens her mouth. Oh, here's a good point. Ask Raphael Warlock. Yeah, I call him the Warlock. All right, so Trump's about to begin speaking. As soon as the music's done, we will take him at the Tempe, Arizona rally.
Well, thank you very much, and a very special hello to Arizona. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible state with thousands of very, very hardworking American patriots. Thank you very much, everybody. So as you know, early voting, we're finally here. We can't take this any longer. We don't like incompetent people, do we? We don't like incompetent. These people are grossly incompetent. They're going to be changed. We have no choice. We have to change them, and we have to change them on November 5th. It's going to be the most important day in the history of our country. I believe that, too. Voting is underway here in Arizona, and we're doing great in Arizona. I don't know if you've been hearing. They got a problem. They got a problem. Got to make it too big to rig. Too big to rig, right? But if you want, vote by mail. Tomorrow is your last day to request a ballot. But you can cast your early vote in person all the way through November 1st, or you can vote on Election Day, which is just get out and vote. You got to go vote. We got to save it. We call it a nation in decline. We're being nice when we say that. With your help, 12 days from now, we're going to win Arizona. We're going to defeat Kamala Harris. And we're going to make America great again. That's what we're going to do. Over the past 4 years, Kamala Harris has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted upon our people. She has eradicated our sovereign border, and she has unleashed an army of migrant gangs who are waging a campaign of violence and terror against our citizens. And my message today is very simple. Kamala's migrant invasion, given to us through gross incompetence, disqualifies her from even thinking about being president. We can't let that happen. No person who is responsible for so much bloodshed and death on our soil can ever be allowed to become the president of the United States. What she's done and he's done. Crooked Joe and Kamala, what a combination. Worst combination in the history of our country. And they've weaponized your government. They're a disgrace to our country. 4 years ago, we had the strongest, safest, and most secure border in U.S. history with the lowest level of illegal immigration ever achieved. 4 years ago. Put up the chart. Go ahead, put it up. My favorite chart.
actually showed it today.
That was the lowest. That was the day I left office. We did great in 2016. We got millions more votes in 2020. But that's the way it goes. But this is this is bigger than anything. This is going to be the biggest and most important election ever. It's going to be the biggest political event, I believe, in our country's history. We have to win. And we don't need it for the big political event. We need it to save our country. When Kamala came in, she deliberately dismantled our border and threw open the gates. She threw them open. The gates to an invasion of criminal migrants from prisons and jails, from insane asylums and mental institutions, from all over the world, from Venezuela to the Congo in Africa. A lot of people coming out of the Congo, not just South America. They're coming from 181 countries as of yesterday. Right, and we're a dumping ground. We're like a garbage can for the world. That's what's happened. That's what's happened to her. We're like a garbage can. You know, it's the first time I've ever said that. And every time I come up and talk about what they've done to our country, I get angrier and angrier. First time I've ever said garbage can, but you know what? It's a very accurate description. Meanwhile, she cruelly forced our border agents to help facilitate her wicked betrayal of America. And by the way, the Border Patrol last week gave us their complete and total endorsement, and they said she is the worst. I want to thank them. And they, at the same time, they said she is so bad, she's the worst, you can't have her. And they don't want to do that. It's probably not easy for them to do that. But you know what? They said she's horrible. She was the border czar, and she never made one phone call. Not only didn't she come to the border, she never made a phone call. And now, a few months ago, when she was getting killed, both of them, him and her, they were getting killed. They made it a little bit tougher, but they forgot to stop the airplanes going overhead. We said, how come those planes are still flying? Hundreds of thousands of people flown into our country, landing in our beautiful Midwest and other places, and they're devastated. You know what's happening to Springfield, Ohio, and Aurora, and Colorado. What they're doing to our country. We're joined today by the former senior Border Patrol chief of the San Diego sector, Aaron Heitke, an eyewitness to one of the most horrific scandals in American history carried out by Kamala. Well, she was appointed by this guy because he has to go to sleep every night at 4 o'clock. And she was appointed by him, and therefore she was the border czar, but she doesn't want to be called, so who cares what she is? She was appointed to take care of our border. We had the worst border, and now, and by the way, she also destroyed San Francisco, one of the greatest cities in the world, 15, 16 years ago. And California, when she was Attorney General, a disaster between her and Gavin Newsom is the worst. But it's deadly. What they've done is deadly. The open border policy is a disaster. Aaron, please come up and say a few words. Border Patrol.
I've never seen anything worse than the last 4 years that I've seen under the current administration. I had the pleasure of working for President Trump, and things were never better. I had the misfortune of spending the last 4 years watching our border be overrun. It's been nonstop. The agents' morale has been destroyed. It's been very difficult to watch. I testified in front of the Senate recently to get the word out. The public doesn't know. This administration has continued to say there's no threat at the border. We have a continuous threat, a serious threat at the border that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Aaron. And that's heartfelt, too. That's heartfelt. He just wants it to be straightened out, along with one of the incredible people. Getting their endorsement was my great honor. But it says something. And we had unanimous, thousands of people, unanimous. Who could ever get that? Because she's so bad. She's so bad. I watched last night. I don't watch CNN often. It's fake news. But I watched last night. Oh, oops, the camera just went off. I watched last night. She did a town hall. Honestly, it was pathetic. It was pathetic. There's never been anything like that. We can't let it happen. We can't. That's why you have to get everyone saying how well we're doing. You still get out. The people that haven't voted, get out and vote. We can't take a chance. We can't take a chance on this disaster continuing, because we won't have a country left if it does. The 4-year-long nightmare that Kamala Harris has forced your men to endure, your men, your women, your children, it's a nightmare for the whole planet. You want to know the truth, because we represent so much. We represent the American dream. The whole world is watching us, and they see these people that don't deserve to be in any position of authority. Remember, he got, whether you like him or not, I'm not a fan of his. Did you see last night? He blew it. He said, lock him up. He said, lock him up last night. He's not allowed to say that. He's such a stupid guy. Such a stupid fool. He's such a guy. But they actually, remember this, they took it away from them. They did something that's never happened. You know, you can use different words, but they just took away the presidency of the United States. And they wanted to be politically correct. They gave it to her. And she was last. She was the first one out. And she came in out of the top 13 contenders. She came in last, and they gave her she got no votes. He got 14 million, whether you like this guy or not, and not too many people are thrilled. And, you know, if you remember, we had a debate, and he didn't do great in the debate, but you know what? That's what happens. And he went down, and he was not doing great, but you got to let him ride it out, right? Instead, they took him out. They said, you're coming out. We're not going to let you. They tell this to the president. This is crazy Nancy. She's crazy as a bed bug, that one. She's a nut job who's crooked as hell. Listen, she started over with nothing. 2 weeks ago, a company that was going to be investigated the following day, she had a lot of stock in the company. She sold the stock the day before they announced the investigation of the company. That's crazy Nancy. No, I think she's immune from investigation. Can you believe? I think she's immune, but not a good person. So when I win on November 5th, the migrate, and remember this, we're going to win. I think we're going to win maybe bigger than anyone understands. Have to get out of the vote. And when I win on November 5th, and it's not me, we win. We're going to win. When we win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. We're going to restore our country. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has imported into our country. Essentially, open borders. When you say open borders, and then they say, we're going to give you health care, education, we're going to give... They're forced to come up, right? Sheriff, you look good, handsome guy. But they come in. It's like a magnet. They come in. They're promised everything. In New York, they get hotel rooms, luxury hotel rooms, and our veterans are forced to sleep on the streets. Think of it. But it's a savage Venezuela prison gang formed in the prison, Tren de Aragua, that is taking over apartment complexes and unleashing a violent terror spree. This is in that case in Colorado. And the governor, who's a radical left Democrat, is petrified of the situation. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. Replace him. I think we replace him. I hope Colorado, Colorado with the governor, this weak guy, Colorado was the one that tried to get Trump. I'm leading every candidate, including the Democrats, on the ballot, and they put in a petition to have me removed from the ballot. And then they say, think of it. They didn't get very far, but this guy tried that. And then they say, I'm a threat to democracy. I'm a threat. No, they're a threat. But they even are taking over parts of Times Square. They're all over the place now, and they have weapons like very few people have. So let's take a look.
Whoever's producing the show for him didn't bring in the video feed to their sound system. So basically, it sounds like crap. So that's not me. That's what we have. Thanks a lot, Kamala. Thanks a lot, Kamala. We appreciate it. The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. We're not going to have this. November 5th, 2024 will be called Liberation Day in America. We're going to be liberated. Under Kamala Harris, 13,099, this is information right from the Border Patrol, not even believable, 13,099 illegal alien convicted murderers were set to prey upon the United States of America. Think of that. And 425,000 convicted criminal aliens were released into our country over the last 3.5 years. Think of that, 425,000. Last year, an illegal alien was arrested at the Arizona border and then released into the United States by Kamala's horrible open border policy. He went on to repeatedly rape and strangle a woman, killing some, they don't know how many, and is now facing over 100 years in prison. Thank you very much, Kamala. We appreciate it. Through our open border, Kamala Harris is also actively aiding and abetting the worst human traffickers, child smugglers, drug dealers, bloodthirsty criminal networks. We have them all, the worst murderers in the world. They make our criminals look like nice people, I'm telling you. The cartel's profits have soared from $500 million a year under Trump to $13 billion under the border czar, Kamala. And every day they're stealing innocent lives on both sides of the border. They're killing people left and right. Nobody knows it. And the fake news right back there, they don't want to report it.
They don't want to report it. They don't put it. You know, when I put these, I have friends, they love the rallies. They want to watch the rallies, and they always do. And the other day, one of my friends said, you know, we love the rallies, but you put up these great clips that are very descriptive, and the fake news will not put the camera on the clips. I didn't know that, you know. I just heard that. And we tell them to do it, but they don't do it. They just keep that camera zoomed in on me. Such a waste of time. Now, we have some clips. They're great clips. And the people at home, we got millions of people watching on television, but they won't move those cameras. I try and shame them. I do whatever I can. They're just bad people. And until we get a fair and free press in this country, they're just bad people. I mean, look how easy. Here you have, all they have to do is just go, 1 inch this way and 1 inch this way, and you got it. They don't want to do that. They're the enemy of the people. They are. They're the enemy of the, I've been asked not to say it. I don't want to say it. They're the enemy of the people. And someday they're not going to be the enemy of the people, I hope. Just days ago, a young U.S. Marine Corps veteran named Nicholas Quetz, from right here in Arizona, you know about it, was driving through Mexico for a beach weekend, just a weekend with his friends, a really good guy, good kid, when he was viciously gunned down on the highway and murdered by members of a Mexican cartel. And it was brutal, for no reason whatsoever. And we're joined today by Nick's wife, Carrie, his father, Warren, his mother, Patricia, his sister, Alexis, and his brother-in-law, Phil. Could you please stand up wherever you may be? Could you please stand up? A beautiful guy, a beautiful family, and we are so sorry for your loss. Can't be expressed. Thank you very much. Under the Trump administration, we will achieve complete and total victory over these sadistic monsters. We will reclaim our territory. We will restore the sovereign borders of the United States of America, and we will put the cartels quickly out of business. They're going to be gone. Immediately upon taking the oath of office, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. We'll get them out. And I will so I have to go back a long way because, you know, that's when they ran a little tougher country. And nowadays, everything's so politically correct. They fight harder for the criminal than they do for the people that have been murdered, killed. These stupid politicians. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Can you believe that? To go back that far. To target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. Can you imagine having to go back to 1798? And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer. Thank you. I will end catch and release. You know, we had a policy called Remain in Mexico. People think that was easy to get. That was so good. They ended it immediately. I will end all migrant flights. I will outlaw sanctuary cities, which is a place where they give criminals sanctuary. I will immediately ask Congress for funding to hire 10,000 new border agents and to approve a 10% raise for existing agents and a $10,000 retention and signing bonus. We're doing it. They've been treated unfairly. And I will ban all welfare and federal benefits from illegal aliens, and they won't come anymore. They won't come. And in yet another incoherent train wreck of a television interview yesterday, Kamala Harris stated once again that she opposes any plan to send her illegal aliens back home. She opposes deport. I don't think she knew what the hell she was saying, you want to know. I actually saw it. I said, I think she must have misunderstood. She'll say, I didn't understand the question. She doesn't. She's a low IQ individual, I'm telling you. I'm good at this stuff. She's a low IQ person. She opposes deportations. Can you believe it? She doesn't want them, Sheriff. She doesn't want them deported. We have a man over here, one of the greats of all time. Stand up, Joe. Stand up. One of the great of all time. Stand up. He didn't play games at the border. Sheriff Joe. He didn't play games. He's a great one. We miss his wife. We miss his wife. She died a couple of years ago. We miss her. She loved this guy. Can you imagine? She was in love with him like crazy. Who the hell could love him? But you know what? He got the job done. He got that job done, right? No games. And he did it fairly. Thank you very much for being here. It's very nice. I didn't know you were going to be here. It's appropriate that you're here, frankly. You know that. He did a real job. You didn't have the problems that you have today, the day that just walk in. You got those weak politicians, those pathetic politicians. And by the way, speaking of non-weak, I really hope you're going to go out and vote for Carrie Lake for Senate. Where is she? Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Karen. Good luck. And you know what I want you to do now? Get up and go to that television show. She's doing Laura Ingraham, and Laura Ingraham has been great. And we want you to do great. You go ahead. The whole place, we're going to clap as you leave. Go ahead. Come on. Sheriff Joe. Thank you. Thank you, Carrie. Great. Great job. Thank you. Thank you, fellas. She's terrific. You know, we had a deal. I was going to introduce her, but I was going to just sort of let her face. I said, isn't it better if we just say, because she has to do a big show, actually, with Laura. Laura's been great, too, as you know. And so I said, rather than have her sort of like try and avoid, I said, go out to wonderful applause. And somehow, Sheriff Joe, I think that worked out pretty good, right? Huh? But he's never leaving us, this one here. And Kamala supports mass amnesty and citizenship for the human tidal wave. And she's brought it to us. It's going to come crashing down like you've never seen. This tidal wave, we're going to break this tidal wave. We're going to end it fast, and we're going to have our country back again. Every Arizona senior needs to know that Kamala's plan for mass amnesty will obliterate Medicare and Social Security. They want to put these people on Social Security and Medicare, and that's going to sink those two things. Whereas I'm saving them, and I'm not raising the age like they will have to do. I'm not raising, you'll never see me raise the age. We have liquid gold. We have so much wealth in this country. We have so much. We don't have to play around with Social Security like they want to do. They're going to destroy your Social Security among our country. They're going to destroy our country. So that's the whole ballgame. If you want your Medicare looted by 21 million illegal aliens until there's nothing left, and by the way, if they ever got in, the border will be immediately opened, and you'll have 200 million people come in here. You'll have 200 million, and there will be no fracking, Pennsylvania. There will be no fracking. There will be no nothing. We'll have a country that will be a disgrace and an embarrassment. Nobody will even know. It'll happen so fast. It can happen fast. Look at Venezuela. 15 years ago, Venezuela was a thriving, incredible country, and now the people can't get a bottle of water. If you want to save Medicare and save Social Security, you must vote for a gentleman named Donald J. Trump. Have you heard of him? It's an amazing stat, but virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year, you know who it's gone to? Migrants. They're creating jobs. I didn't believe it. I actually have that. Andy Biggs, I had to have that number checked, and I was right. The jobs are going to people that are pouring in. This border invasion of millions of people pouring in is causing a job crisis for Black and Hispanic population. That's what's happening. Hispanic and Black are losing their jobs because of this. And it makes sense. You got millions of people pouring in, people that have had their job, that have done a job for years. They're losing their job. And it started with the Black and the Hispanic populations. And we're just not going to let it all happen. It's so disgraceful. They don't want to show you all of the jobs that the Black and Hispanic people are losing because they want to wait till after the election. But I've seen numbers, and when you see those numbers, the election's going to be over probably, although 818,000 jobs were fraudulently put on the rolls by these guys, by these crooked guys in Washington. They lied and cheated. They said we had 818,000 jobs. And we had a whistleblower because they wanted to revise it after the election. And we had a whistleblower. And I wonder whoever the hell that whistleblower was. Thank you very much, whistleblower. We appreciate it. Think of that. Even after all of the pain and suffering that she's caused, when Kamala was asked if she would do anything differently, she said that she wouldn't change not one thing. Let's watch. It's pretty brutal, isn't it? Isn't it unbelievable? So, Arizona, if you want to end this disaster, you must get out and vote. You have to vote. We're not playing games. So, how to do it. And Jane, your husband sitting on the sofa, watching something. He doesn't even know what he's watching. Tell him, Jimmy, get up. You're getting up, Jimmy. Let's go. Let's go, Jimmy. I'm not going to use foul language. Get your fat ass out of the couch. You're going to vote, Jimmy. You're going to vote. We're going to save our country, Jimmy. We're going to save our country. Now, you got to go vote. We're pleased to be joined by a couple of really great people, two senators. They get it. They really get it, and they're warriors. Marco Rubio and Mike Lee. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. Two great guys, and they are warriors, too. Representatives Eli Crane and Andy Biggs. Thank you. Thank you, fellas. Thank you, Eli. Thank you. Congressional candidate doing really well, Kelly Cooper, who is my complete and total endorsement, and so do these guys. They all have my endorsement. Everybody I've named, including Sheriff Joe, has my endorsement. Arizona GOP chairwoman, and this woman has done a job, and especially, well, it's early voting, and we are doing record successful numbers, and I think it's going to stay that way. Gina Swoboda, where's Gina? She is doing a job. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, honey. Great job. You going to keep it going? Okay, thank you. She's great. Wow, this is a big guy. President of Arizona State University, college Republicans, Carson Carpenter. Thank you. He's done a fantastic job. Young guy. Look, a young guy, huh? He'll be up here someday. Thank you very much, Carson. And Gold Star mom, Alicia Lopez, mother of fallen Marine Corporal Hunter Lopez, who lost his life in the failed withdrawal from Afghanistan. Thanks. We want to thank you, Alicia, and we will never forget Hunter. Where is Alicia? Thank you. Thank you, darling, very much. Thank you very much. I've gotten to know so many people from that horrible event, the most embarrassing, horrible event in the history of our country. Because of that event, Putin went into Ukraine. That Afghanistan event was such a disgrace, and it would have never happened. We would have kept Bagram. We wouldn't have taken the soldiers out first. We wouldn't have given them anything. Billions and billions of dollars of equipment, 13 dead. Think of it, 13 dead, but so many horrifically wounded with the arms and the legs, the whole thing. Nobody ever mentions them. I mention them all the time because they're sitting home right now. They're suffering. And it should have never, ever happened. And Putin, think of this. Putin sat back, and President Xi of China and all of them, and they looked back and they said, oh, the U.S. must be a paper tiger. Putin would have never, ever gone in. No chance. It wouldn't have happened. No chance. I spoke to him about it. It was the apple of his eye. I will tell you that. Ukraine was the apple of his eye. But he would have never gone in. And he understands that. And to think of what's happened, and now you look at Ukraine, so many people have died. Those beautiful old cities, those magnificent golden domes are laying down, smashed to smithereens on their sides. Can you ever rebuild that? You're not going to rebuild that. They lost their whole culture. For that to have happened, you could have stopped that so easily, Joe. You didn't know what the hell you were doing or saying, Joe. What a shame. What a different country we would have had. Think of it. You wouldn't have inflation. You wouldn't have had and we were getting out of Afghanistan. I spoke to Abdul. He was the head of the Taliban. They said, where did you speak to him? I said, because that's where the death is. He was the one. And for 18 months, we didn't lose one soldier in Afghanistan. Think of it. 18 months, right? And then these stupid people took over. And we lost those beautiful soldiers. Most importantly, we lost. And other people, many people were killed that day, many people. People that were from Afghanistan, many people. It was horrific. But so much death and so unnecessary. But think of it, that wouldn't have happened. We would have been out, but we would have been out with dignity and pride. We would have kept Bagram, the big air base, one of the biggest air bases in the world. We built it many years ago for billions of dollars, and it was 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons, and we would have kept it for that reason. We were expecting to keep it, but they left there too. They turned off the lights and they left, although a lot of those lights were left on, I believe. And they didn't take the dogs, by the way. A lot of people say, did they take the dogs? They had these great German Shepherd dogs. No, they didn't take the dogs. It's such a horrible thing that happened, and in a short period of time. So you had that, and then you had Russia going into Ukraine. You have President Xi looking very strongly at Taiwan. You know that. He's been looking, he's been savoring. He's been licking his chops on that one, right? And you had October 7th with Israel would have never happened. That would have never, all those people killed, it would have never happened. None of it would have happened. We would have been a whole different world right now. We would have been the world that Viktor Orban talks about. He said he's the head of Hungary, strong person, very strong leader. He said this would have never happened if Trump were the president of the United States. So, but we'll fix it. We'll fix it. We'll get it fixed. Also with us is Kristen Coolidge, the widow of Phoenix police officer Zane Coolidge, who was shot and killed last month in the line of duty, leaving behind his wife and his beautiful 5-month-old daughter. I just met them at backstage also. Could you stand up, wherever you may be? Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you. And Kristen, your husband was a true hero. They know him so well over here. Everybody knew exactly who I was talking about. And it was wonderful to meet you, but I'm so sorry for what happened. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you, Mom. Thank you. So we grieve with you, and we stand with you, and we're going to stand with everybody that we just introduced you to. But these are things that would have never happened with proper government, with people that knew what they were doing, with maybe a little bit of toughness. I guess that's okay, right? Maybe a little bit of toughness and a lot of common sense. These things would have never happened, and these wonderful people would be alive today. Under my administration, we will once again give our police and law enforcement heroes the support, resources, protection, and respect that they so dearly deserve, right? We're going to bring back law and order to America. Our country is going to hell. We'll rapidly build the greatest economy in history. I will pass historic tax cuts for workers and small businesses, including no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. No tax. And I will terminate Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate, and we will end the Green New Scam. Trillions and trillions of dollars being wasted on the Green New Scam. We're going to have the cleanest water of anybody. We had 4 years. We had the record, clean water, clean air. But it's a Green New Scam. I will make interest on car loans fully tax deductible, but only for cars made in America. Thank you. And to a large degree, the reason I just came up with that idea, people are calling me these geniuses from Wall Street. What a great idea that was. How did you think of that? I always say the paperclip. 129 years ago, the paperclip. Somebody looked at it and said, why didn't I think of this? Somebody got very rich. Because affording a car is essential to restoring the American dream. We're going to have those cars made in Detroit. They're going to be made all over Michigan. We might even have a couple made here, but who knows? We're going to make plenty of other things here. We will quickly become energy independent, and we will frack, 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 and drill, baby, drill. We're going to frack, 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 drill, baby, drill. And in conclusion, with your vote this November, we are going to fire Kamala Harris. We're going to fire her. Get the hell. We're going to fire Kamala. We're going to get her out of here. Honestly, you had to see it last night to believe it. People, even reporters spoke to me today. They said, we can't believe it. It's hard for them to justify, you know. They're all controlled by the left. They're controlled by the left, totally controlled. I don't know what the hell. We have to free the reporters up because I know some of them. They're good people. We have to free them up. We have to free them from the left. And we're going to save America. With your support, we will end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America. And really, a lot of factories are coming right back here to Arizona, where they were taken from you. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American. I will end the war in Ukraine. I will get it stopped very quickly. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III. And we're very close to World War III right now. And we will build a massive missile defense shield to protect us. We want protection too, don't we? And it's going to be made in the USA, a lot of it right here. And we will land an American astronaut on Mars. Thank you, Elon. Thank you. Get going, Elon. Get that spaceship going, Elon. By the way, how good is Elon Musk? You know, well, we're having a good time here today at this beautiful arena. This is a beautiful arena, nice 72 degrees, everything. Elon is campaigning in Pennsylvania, and he's really working hard. Elon Musk, between rocket ships, you ever see a rocket ship come down so beautifully like that? I said, why did you do that, Elon? He said, because I want to save the ship. It costs like $1 billion to build. I said, can anybody else do that? No. The rest of them, they drop them into the ocean. They start all over again. No, this guy's great. And he did us a bigger favor right now. He gave us the Starlink. Does anybody know Starlink? He gave us Starlink in North Carolina, some in Georgia, some of the areas that were hit by that horrible hurricane. And somebody from North Carolina said, do you know Elon Musk? I said, yes. How good was his endorsement? I mean, his endorsement just kept coming and coming. He said that we will not have a country if we don't win this election, and he is a smart cookie. In fact, he was over with us last couple of weeks over in Pennsylvania in Butler. And he saw something that he's, with all the rockets and Starlinks and everything else, he said, I've never seen anything like it. We had 101,000 people, and it was incredible. Honoring a wonderful man, Corey, firefighter, and it was a beautiful, beautiful evening. It's a beautiful evening. But Elon got Starlink, and he said, the gentleman from North Carolina, one of the officials, said to me, is it possible for you to get him to get us Starlink? I said, I can try. What's Starlink? And he told me it's communication, a form of communication that's very good, but hard to get. And I called Elon, and he sent it immediately. Hundreds of adapters, sent them immediately. And I think he saved a lot of lives. So thank you, Elon Musk, right? Thank you. Good job. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity. We're going to get them the hell out of our schools immediately, right? And something I'm always embarrassed to even have to say, it's so crazy. We will keep men out of women's sports. Can you believe? Who would have thought you have to say that? How about the other good one is parental? We will give parents the rights to watch over their child. I mean, the school boards. No, I mean, I have things that I say that 10 years ago would have been like, who would ever think of it? We will keep men out of women's sports. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. I will defend religious liberty, I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms, our Second Amendment. Right? After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are finally going to build up our country. We are going to defend our borders, and we are going to protect our citizens. We will stop all illegal immigration once and for all and at once. We will stop it immediately. We will not be occupied. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation once again. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day will be filled with opportunity, hope, and filled with the American dream again. We're bringing back the American dream. That's what we're going to do. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is simply too big to rig. And we're doing that. We're doing that. We're doing that. If these numbers hold up, and they probably will, I mean, why wouldn't they? Who the hell wants these people in office? It's crazy. But the numbers are the biggest anyone's ever seen. Even the fake news says that. It's pretty amazing. But we want to wait, and we're watching very studiously. Early voting is underway. Get everyone you know and vote. Just get them. Get your friends. Say, get over here. You're going to vote. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years of the history of our country. With your help from now until Election Day, 12 days, is that so much to ask? 12 days. We will redeem America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we love. We're going to take it back from these people that have no idea what they're doing. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And we're going to remember God. They don't want to remember God. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down, and we will never, ever surrender. Together, we will fight, 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 and win, win, win. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. Bobby Kennedy. We will make America strong again. Oh, we're going to be strong. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Arizona. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right, so I read in the chat that some people thought Trump was a little reserved. He wasn't as pumped today. Remember, this guy has gone on the campaign trail now for 50-something days in a row. And I'm thinking he was basically out there, but he was saving himself for tonight. If you saw last night's rally with the Turning Point and how they brought all the Avengers on stage, and it was just an amazing rally. And this one here, Arizona, he's doing what he has to do. He left out a few things. He didn't show the DEI transformers. Thankfully, I don't have to delete that stuff. But nonetheless, the people, as you can see, are ecstatic. They got to hear from him. So now what he's got to do, he's got to go from Arizona. He's going to take his big old plane over to Las Vegas tonight at 9:30. If you didn't see last night's rally, you're definitely going to want to tune in tonight at 9:30. We got a double header here, so you guys got to be prepared to stay up with me. But I think he's providing some incentive for you to do so. So last night we heard RFK Jr., Tucker, Tulsi, Charlie Kirk. It was just amazing. So tonight he has the all-star lineup as well. That's why I'm going early, because I want to make sure I catch everybody that's going to be on. So he's got Tulsi on tonight. He's got Vivek with him as well. And he's got Kash Patel, which terrifies the Democrats, and also Charlie Kirk again. So he's going to have a big part of the Avengers team will be here tonight at 9:30. Then I just heard that Tucker Carlson, he's doing Rogan on Friday. No times have been released yet. I don't know. I'll let you know as soon as I find out. And then in addition to that, he's going to be basically doing an interview with Tucker on the 31st. And of course, on the 27th is the huge rally in Madison Square Garden, where everything pretty much will get wrapped up. And I've been hearing information, nothing confirmed yet. I've been hearing information that those last couple days, like the 31st, maybe the 1st or so, he may do another huge X space with Elon Musk. And if he does, it'll break the internet. And it's becoming a familiar term with Trump, because he's going to break the internet with Joe Rogan, and then he's going to break the internet with Tucker Carlson, having formerly broke the internet with Elon Musk. And then if he does it again, he will do it all over again to close things out. Meanwhile, Kamala is the opening act for the next couple of nights. She opens for Bruce Springsteen. So if you haven't heard, she had to pay, what's her name, Lizzo, $2.3 million. She paid Lizzo $2 million to come out for what amounted to about a 6-minute speech, and then she left. And so tonight, I can't even imagine how much she's paying Bruce Springsteen, and then he's going to come out there after she does her opening act, and hopefully she goes first, because if he goes first and then she tries to come on afterwards, they're going to have an empty arena. People are going for Bruce Springsteen, those of you who still like Bruce Springsteen. If he kept his mouth shut, I'd be looking to buy tickets as well. But nah, he want to be an idiot, so I ain't got no time for you, Bruce. So let's continue with this interview before we close out tonight. Go back to finishing off with Kamala Harris.
In the migrant population, how will you ensure that every immigrant is integrated into American society safely? What benefits and subsidies will you provide them with, and how long will these benefits and subsidies last for an individual? Most importantly, will the American citizens' taxes pay for these benefits and subsidies, and if so, how much money will be allocated?
Well, thank you, Jackson. Let's start with this. America's immigration system is broken, and it needs to be fixed, and it's been broken for a long time. And part of what we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do to strengthen our border. I will tell you, I'm the only person.
She's very good at trying to throw you off and not answer the question, and hopefully you'll forget what the question was. This gentleman says, how are you going to pay for all this?
In this race, among the two choices that voters have, I've personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations in the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career making sure that our border is secure and that we do not allow criminals in.
She has spent a significant part of her career making sure our border is secure. You mean like the last 4 years? So you're telling this kid who has a question about how you're going to pay for it, your answer to him is, I've spent a significant part of my career making sure the border's secure, which every person watching this show on CNN had to realize, man, this woman's so full of it.
And we don't allow that kind of trafficking to happen and come into our country.
I don't know, maybe ask the 325,000 kids and women that you can't account for. I guess they weren't part of that, protection that you say you can provide.
And as my opponent has proven himself, he would prefer to run on the problem instead of fix the problem.
Yeah. Notice she never answered the question. That became a common theme in this entirety of this CNN interview that you guys hopefully didn't have to sit through for an hour. She just would say, hey, is your shirt red? Well, let me just tell you, I come from a small town, and she never comes back and answers the question.
Prices have gone up quite a bit in the last 4 years. Yeah. And some people blame former President Trump. Some people...
Who blames Trump for grocery prices that went up in the last 4 years? What in the hell is this dude talking about?
People blame President Biden. Who would you say is correct, and what would you do to bring prices down for Americans?
So this is a complete layup. So they planted this question, obviously, because nobody blames Trump for the prices of groceries and gas for the last 4 years. So now, even that they planted this, and this guy has tossed her a softball, watch how she misses this one.
Thank you, Eric, and you're absolutely right. You know it, I know it, I think most Americans know it. Price of groceries is still too high, and we need to address it in a number of ways.
So the quick answer, what do you mean we need to address it? You're the vice president right now. You've been vice president for 4 years. The other guy who's wandering around the White House looking for ice cream, he's been there for 4 years. Now you want to address this. And this poor guy's sitting there going, he must be thinking in his mind, well, I guess I got paid to ask that question, but nobody's going to buy this crap. We need to address it. Elect me to find out how I might address it in January?
My aspects of doing what we need to do to bring down the cost of living for working people and the middle class in America is to address the issue of grocery prices. Part of my background and how I come to it is...
Okay, now she's going to go to her background because she says her background can help her in terms of lowering the prices.
Probably a new approach grounded in a lot of my experiences as a former attorney general.
Notice that. And that's what I keep pointing out. My background has allowed me to do this. What background? We've seen what you've done for the last 6 years or so. 4 years as vice president, a couple years before that senator. She leapfrogged from, basically she went back to the future. The reason why I can basically work to help with your prices is what I did when I was in California. And nobody asked her. You've been vice president for 4 years. You were a senator before that, and you're relying on your, quote, experience as attorney general in California a long time ago.
Where I took on price gouging. And part of my plan is to create a new approach that is the first time that we will have a national ban on price gouging.
There's a national ban on price gouging right now. It's illegal. She must think, or she may be right, that the people who look to vote for her are functional illiterates. Definitely financial illiterates. She makes absolutely no sense. And she's telling you, forget these last 6 years. Forget me being a senator. Forget me being vice president. When I was the attorney general of California, I did this and that. Why do I give a shit what you did when you were in California? So you have no answer to any of these questions. And now the media is starting to pick up on this. And they're like, we're kind of over this crap.
There's something you can point to in your life, political life or in your life in the last 4 years, that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
All right. I can't believe, I cannot believe that Anderson Cooper threw this missile at her. I mean, basically, he went with a intercontinental ballistic missile. He fired it right at her chest. Is there anything in the last 4 years that you regret, you made a mistake with? He put her directly on the spot. This is a question you can't dodge. All of us can point to mistakes that we made in the last 4 years. But what he unfortunately did is trapped her. And I don't think she ever saw this coming on CNN, that she would have to basically publicly admit screwing up in the last 4 years, which, of course, she's not going to do.
I mean, I've made many mistakes.
So you made many mistakes in the last 4 years. Okay, thank you.
And they range.
She doesn't know what to say.
From, if you've ever parented a child, you make lots of mistakes too.
That's not what he's talking about. The question was, what have you done in the last 4 years that you think is a mistake? Parenting a child which you never had. Well, I guess you're parented, you didn't raise a child.
In my role as vice president, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues. And
what issues? And what was the mistake you made on those issues? See, the question, he didn't ask you what you were well versed on. What mistakes have you made?
I think that is very important. It's a mistake not to be well versed on an issue and feel compelled to answer a question.
Would you be
At that point, they should have just pulled the curtain down. She's done. She's done. Absolutely done.
in favor of expanding the court to say 12, so each justice has only one circuit court other than Chief Justice to assist in making judgments more balanced?
So basically, now they're asking her, are you looking to pack the Supreme Court, which nobody wants, not even Democrats? You're never going to get a majority to go along with that. Sure, you're going to have Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and some of AOC and some of the nuts, but this woman just asked her, do you want to pack the court? Listen to this.
Well, to your point, there is no question that the American people increasingly are losing confidence in the Supreme Court. And in large part because of the behavior of certain members of that court and because of certain rulings, including the Dobbs decision and taking away a precedent that had been in place for 50 years, protecting a woman's right to make decisions about her own body. So I do believe that there should be some kind of reform of the court, and we can study what that actually looks like.
So first, let's listen.
So now, after that stupidity, which is going to cause more numbers to go down, and you're going to see even more distancing from other Democrats, now CNN decides to fact-check Kamala Harris.
To a claim the vice president made about her policy shift on fracking.
I've been very clear we could have dispensed with this in 2020. I am not going to ban fracking. I did not as vice president. In fact, as vice president, I cast the tie-breaking vote that now has opened up more fracking leases.
And you point out, too, when you're running for vice president in 2020, you were not talking about banning fracking, but...
No, Anderson, I pledged that I would not ban fracking.
Right, I know.
It is not true that Harris pledged in 2020 that she would not ban fracking as president. Her campaign...
Ouch. CNN with the side swipe.
Payne has explained that she was referring to her comments in a VP debate with Mike Pence. But here's the thing about that debate. Nowhere in it did Harris say she had changed her own previous 2019 support for a fracking ban. What she did say in that debate twice was that Joe Biden, the head of the Democratic ticket at the time, would not ban fracking himself. I have the quotes here. She said,
I have the quotes here. I got the receipts, you liar. CNN is calling out Kamala Harris. Lightning bolts are going to start coming down at this point. CNN is going after Kamala Harris.
Joe Biden will not ban fracking, end quote. And then she said, quote, Joe Biden will not end fracking. He has been very clear about that, end quote. She didn't say Kamala Harris wouldn't ban fracking as president. That made sense at the time. He was the candidate. But contrary to her claim tonight to Anderson, she did not pledge until this year that she personally would not support a fracking ban. Now let's listen to something she said tonight about former President Trump's border wall.
Remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw is about 2%.
It is true Mexico didn't pay for the wall. That 2% figure, though, is at least somewhat too low. Trump repeatedly said on the campaign trail in 2015 and 2016 that we need 1,000 miles of wall. And during his presidency, 52 miles of new wall were built where no wall existed before. So even that is more than 5% of his pledge. And he also built an additional 406 miles to reinforce or replace previously existing border barriers. Much of that replacement wall, guys, was significantly bigger and more daunting than the previous barriers. So I think you could argue it should count too.
How bad is that? How bad is it that some of the media, at least some people on CNN, are, as they say, clapping back at Kamala and calling her out on her lies. That's how bad things are getting. And I told you that. I said in the waning days of this campaign, at this point, and I said when it got to this point, you're going to start seeing a shift with people starting to try and save their credibility because they want to be here long after this election. And they know that Trump's coming after CBS for all their lies. And so now you're going to start seeing some people who understand that their livelihood beyond November 5th is going to basically depend upon some of their credibility being restored. And so now, 10, 12 days out from the election, that's what's
Now, finally,
happening.
let's play something the vice president said about Trump's 2017 tax cuts.
Sadly, Donald Trump, when he was president, gave tax cuts to the richest, to billionaires and big corporations, which added trillions of dollars to our deficit.
It is absolutely true that, according to independent analysts, the wealthiest Americans got the biggest benefits from those Trump tax cuts.
You mean the people who pay the biggest amount? See, they always leave that part out. If you're paying more, then you're going to receive more of a benefit. They never like to talk about that, as if being rich is some sort of sin. Excuse me. So it just cracks me up when I hear these guys go after the rich so often.
So this Harris claim is not false, but I think it's worth noting something she didn't mention, and that's that Americans of all income levels got tax cuts from this 2017 law. The Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center found in early 2018 that the law, quote, will reduce individual income taxes on average for all income groups annually.
See, that's the problem that they don't ever want to talk about, percentage-wise. So if I get a 10% tax cut, and Bill Gates gets a 10% tax cut, his percentage is the same as mine, but 10% of a gazillion is a little bit much bigger than 10% of mine. But we got the same tax cut, but they've tried to basically trick people into thinking that you didn't. They got off better. And then, of course, then they go with that whole fair share unicorn, which doesn't exist.
In all states, the think tank estimated that about 65% of households would get a tax cut in 2018, and
65% of households will get a tax cut, which means it's probably almost everybody who's actually paying taxes.
Between 60 and 76% of taxpayers in each and every state. So yes, indeed, the rich were the biggest winners from Trump's tax cuts, but it certainly wasn't just for the rich.
Conservatism. Barack Obama was hope and change. Bill Clinton was putting people first, or I'm on your side. What is Kamala Harris? Donald Trump has closed the border, cut your taxes. Right? That's how people process it. What is Kamala Harris?
That's why I don't think, I don't, if the ellipse speech ultimately is another kind of reference to January 6th, and that's it, I think that would be a huge mistake, because that's not the territory that this election is being decided on. Right now, the voters who are not sure what they're going to do, they probably don't like Donald Trump very much. But to your point, Jake, they need to understand that she is a sturdy leader.
Yeah, that's a bridge too far, Abby. A sturdy leader. She hasn't led anything by her own admission. Hey, you know what I did back in California, because I ain't done shit since I've been vice president. Where's the leading part?
Want to believe that she can be president, that she can handle what the presidency comes with. And there is something about, you know, if you are going to do this, if you're going to create a symbolic moment to show that you are in the space that represents American democracy, that's a good point to make. But she has to convince people that she has the gravitas for the job. And for some voters, for all kinds of different reasons, some of it's sexism, some of it's other things.
I hate when they try to say that it's sexism, because you can look at this person and go, yeah, she ain't gonna cut it. No, you can look at her. It's not sexism. I wouldn't mind seeing Tulsi Gabbard as possibly a president. I think Carrie Lake could probably be strong. I think Sarah Huckabee Sanders could be a strong president. It's not about the sexism. It's about this woman has admitted she's done nothing as the vice president.
Voters, that is still an unanswered question.
Yeah, and also they want to know, what is she going to do for me?
Yeah.
CNN is bailing on her.
Milk is $7 a gallon.
Absolutely. Can she handle those economic challenges?
Right, exactly. Everyone's
Well, I'll just tell you what I'm hearing from people who I have been talking to, and that is that if her goal was to close the deal, they're not sure she did that. And, you know, some people have asked, is she being held to a different standard? Maybe, but that's maybe the world that she's living in. And on the question of who she is, people are understanding that a little bit more, but what she will do, the question about her legislative priorities, name one, there wasn't one. You know, some more of her personality and her sort of character questions about your weaknesses or what mistakes did you make? Not necessarily the answers there.
Do you think, Don?
Okay. Is she being held to a different standard? Hey, Dana, the answer to that question is hell yes, she's being held to a different standard. It's the standard you allowed her to obtain. She is, in my lifetime, the first person who has ever run for president who never received a single primary vote. That is the different standard. Nobody else has been allowed to do that. You booted Dementia Joe, which she said he's fine. So you need to take that into account. So if she says he's fine, everything's great with him, he just decided to walk away, whatever reason you want to use, her different standard was created by the media and the Democrat Party. Of course you're going to hold her to a higher standard. She hasn't done anything. She hasn't earned a single vote. She is a media creation, a complete puppet, a mirage, and she's really stupid. I know I didn't want to say it. She appears really stupid. I'll say it that way. So I want you to hear this next exchange that she has with Anderson Cooper, and I want you to listen to the video that plays after. I'm not going to interrupt. I want you guys to hear this. It's like 60 seconds.
Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I also believe that the people who know him best on this subject should be trusted.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable build-ups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind."
Some voters, though, might ask, you've been in the White House for 4 years, you were vice president, not the president, but why wasn't any of that done the last 4 years?
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done.
You know, my grade school teacher would have just given her an F. You use the same word 4 times in one sentence. You know, there's still stuff to be done because we've got to do it. And, you know, we're going to get these things done because it has to get done. That word salad that she constantly vomits is indicative of a mind that can't process thought. I don't know how she was an attorney. I have no idea how that woman was an attorney. Makes no sense. But that clip that you saw from the 1940s says everything about the Democrat Party today. They are running the same playbook all over again, decades and decades and decades later. Try to brand somebody something, make it so horrible that they start associating the thing they know they hate with the person that you're labeling. And you just, say everything you can at every opportunity. Yeah, he's a fascist. Yeah, he's Hitler. Yeah, he's going to lock people up. He's going to do... Meanwhile, you're doing that. Meanwhile, your regime is doing exactly what you're accusing Trump of that he's going to do. But your audience doesn't understand that and doesn't care because they've been brainwashed. They've been basically gaslit. And at this point... they're buying it all, but thankfully, enough Americans aren't buying it. I can't just wait to see her face when Trump wins. She will have a fit for sure. Yeah, I think we're going to see a repeat of 2016 when Hillary couldn't even come out. When Hillary could not even come out and concede. I think that's what you'll see with Kamala Harris. Democratic playbook, we have to get things done while nothing is getting done, and we'll just keep repeating that everything is going to get done when we get back in office. And that must have been the 5th or 6th time during that entire town hall, which I had to condense for you so you didn't have to watch it, where Anderson Cooper kept saying, well, why haven't you done it? You've been running for president since July, since they installed you, and you haven't done anything since then. And no one in her campaign, not when they go on television, nobody can answer that question. We know the answer. The answer is obviously they don't want to fix things. They probably still flying people in. I don't know. I don't see the planes. But we see what happened in Springfield, Ohio, and in that small town in Alabama. They know exactly what they're doing. They're going to continue doing it and through inauguration. And then starting up in probably November 6th when Trump wins, here come all the lawsuits marching into every single court they possibly can, which is why Trump is saying vote early, make this thing basically unriggable on the front end. If there's only 20,000 people left to vote and you're down by 100, there ain't much you can do to manufacture that. It ain't gonna be there. And so then what are they gonna do? I have no idea. I am a Navy vet and a doctor, Hispanic woman, and this woman makes me so sick to be affiliated. Yeah, don't put it on yourself. I mean, she's disgusting. Barry brings the best with the real stuff receipts. It's all out there. I just try to, basically compile it and put it together for you guys so you can see some of the stuff that's out there. And that last clip of the man talking from, 1940 or whatever, that was put up by Dan Scavino. Dan Scavino, if you guys are in our private group, I show you some of the people who to follow. Just go here, fanfareshop.org/group. We're rapidly approaching 6,000 people in this group. I'm so excited that so many people have wanted to join. And what you're going to see there isn't just me talking. You're going to see video and articles and images and memes and all kinds of stuff by the 6,000, the 5,600 people that are in there. They've taken it as their own, which I love, and they're creating content, putting stuff out there where I don't have to be the only person putting stuff out there. They're holding spaces with Ashley. They're doing morning coffee routines where they're all talking. You'll love it. Get over there and join it. So before I go, I got to go ahead and look at the super chats because we got a long night. We got to go eat some dinner, take a nap, come on back for the big rally tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun with all these different speakers. It's going to be, just awesome. Let me go ahead and take in the super chats right now. Hold on one second, everybody. And then I got something special to show you. We have a new, well, you'll see, a new outro. All right, so where am I? Moving to this camera, moving over here. Here we go. Right off the bat, let me just jump up here and, Club 1852 again. Thank you. 12 more days. Can't wait. MAGA Red Wave coming. God, please protect our president. Love your shows, Barry. Thanks for all you do. Thank you very much, Club 1852. Joy Kirkland, my ex-husband had a book that he had gotten from an ex-IRS guy, and I read where it literally said that it was only supposed to be for 2 years to support the war. Those of you who may have come in later, I had mentioned that I felt like Trump was leaning towards abolishing the income tax. Well, it's now out there. It's everywhere on X. New York Times wrote an article about it. Trump is considering doing away with income tax. Ernest Walker, thank you. Support American products, American farmers, and American ranchers. Absolutely. Kathleen Berry, love learning from you. Enjoy watching daily. Finally got to listen to common sense and logical analysis. Thank you very much. El Martinez, if you don't work now, nor will you eat or respect what's on your plate. Absolutely. Kurt Vance, thank you. Big Cat, brother. Barry, do you ever do political out-of-state donations? I've been wanting to do more. Thank you for your great community work and digital world. Not political. Worked with Samaritan's Purse. But go ahead and DM me and let me know what you have in mind. Tommy Ratcliffe, hello, brother. 4 levels of human being learning: rote, understanding, application, and correlation. She's all rote and cannot correlate any information. Therefore, she can't convey it, especially under pressure. Not a president. Nope. You have to know those questions are coming. You have to know that that's what people are going to say. She keeps flubbing it. Ward Furtuck, Canada here. Canada, thank you very much. Man, what's going on with Justin Trudeau up there? Mama Mima, keep in mind it's the very fact that Trump accepted such divergent individuals that made this movement skyrocket. He's okay if you don't agree with everything. It's about taking the best of everyone and healing our USA. I think that's, if you asked him, what are the things you've learned? I bet you that's a big one. He's like, I can't do it myself. I can't do it with the people that are here. I need to bring in and reach out to people who can make this happen. And that's exactly what he's doing. Let's see here. The Dems are celebrating, the demons are celebrating that there were no challenges on that BS. Yeah, really. And that's from just another knucklehead. Marie Perrant, Barry, this woman is truly dangerous. Yeah, she is. I believe that. Barry, she is true. Tommy Radcliffe again. Barry, she is truly evil. We can't sugarcoat this. She repelled the Lord's people. We suffer for his sake. You know, with her going out there and on stage saying how she prays daily, knowing what she advocates for, it's insane. Moshe G. Harris identifies as a Baptist, not as a Hindu or not even a Reformed Jew. Chris, thanks, Barry, Robin, Ashley, Midas, and Mods. Midas is chilling over there, just sleeping again. Charlene Bates, thank you. Miss Fabulous, I hate when Kamala things come on Arizona radio. Trump wants 60% tariffs on China. It'll be more expensive to buy stuff from China. Don't buy Chinese stuff. There you go. There you go. Wanda L. You know what would be a good thing for people to begin looking at too? Especially, I mean, to this day, Robin has certain craft stores that she goes to around town, and certain secondhand stores, which we live in Boca. So a secondhand store in Boca is like a luxury item in most other areas. And you don't have to spend what you don't have. You can buy things from these stores. What did I just do there? Patrast. What happened? I clicked the wrong button. Let me go back up the top here. Oh, okay, here we go. Charlene, Chris, yeah, I saw that. Miss Fabulous, Wanda, Patras, California here voting Trump, the Constitution. Absolutely. Nicholas Lamonicus, hey brother. Thanks, Barry. What are the latest numbers? You want me to show that? And T. Mallet, thank you very much. So the latest numbers, which I'm thinking that he's talking about Polymarket, because the other numbers, you know, they're just out there. Nothing's changing. He's destroying her. It's 63.7 to 36.4. She's not closing the gap at all. At all. It's over. It's absolutely over. All right, so don't forget well, first of all, don't forget to join the group, fanfareshop.org/group, to join us over on Twitter. And don't forget, tonight at 9:30, I go live with the Las Vegas rally with Vivek, Tulsi, and Charlie Kirk. Talk to you guys 9:30 tonight. Get some rest.